Barry Rosen and 51 other Americans spent 444 days as guests of the Ayatollah during the Iran hostage crisis. He was the press attaché at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran when it was stormed and that long nightmare began. Barry joins us now. It's good to see you. Really just remarkable story that you have lived and went through. When you're watching now an attack on Iran and the concept that it could have a nuclear weapon after what they did to you, do you feel as though this is the most righteous thing that can be done in the world, is attacking Iran's nuclear program, or somehow misguided?
Well, I have mixed feelings about many things concerning Iran. I've had great feelings toward Iranians because I was a Peace Corps volunteer originally in Iran, and then I was a press attaché. So I know the country, I feel the people, and I'm concerned in terms of the casualties on both sides, both Israelis and the Iranians. But I do think that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. That's basic.
Yeah, when they chant death to America, I think there's a lot of Americans who kind of think it's hyperbole. Is it?
No, it's not hyperbole. Ayatollah Khomeini, who was the preeminent leader of the revolution, started the death to America and death to Iran, Marg bar Amerika, Marg bar Yisrael, in the 60s, when he was opposing the Shah. So it's a fundamental asset or fundamental pillar of the Iranian revolution.
Okay. There is this concept, and I'm totally in agreement that there are parts of Iran that yearn for democracy. There are people who remember what life was like as a Western Persian country. People could wear swimsuits and go to rock and roll concerts and all of these things that we all talk about in the 1970s. You think about 50 years later, is there really some charismatic secular leader who somehow is going to come to power post the Ayatollah and bring Iran back into the fold of normalcy in this vibrant country that it once was?
No, I don't believe so. I believe that the regime will hold on. It has the weaponry, it has the Basiji groups and Revolutionary Guards and the intelligence agencies who are willing to shoot and kill whenever they possibly can. So I don't see a political opposition that's viable that will be able to bring a secular society within Iran.
You watch the images from when you were a hostage, and you now think that in some way the regime that did that to you is receiving some type of justice from possibly America, but certainly from an American ally in Israel. I think you must at some level, though, say, when I was sitting there for 444 days, I hoped someone would avenge what was happening to me, right?
Well, when I was there, I was always hoping that the U.S. Air Force would be in Iran, bombing Iran. It does bring a certain sense of a feeling of not pleasure, but a feeling that there is some sort of payback to Iran. But I'm sincerely hoping that there won't be, high civilian deaths in Iran.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.